Sure.
All right. Hi, everybody. We're here with the Square Table Degenerates podcast, and we're joined by Mr. L. Edwards. Now, you may be asking yourself, who is L. Edwards? We're about to get into that here in a moment. Now, Mr. Edwards, how you doing today?
I'm well. How are you, Joe?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Now, tell us a little bit about where you grew up and your background prior to the thing you're most famous for. Where'd you grow up and how'd you come about?
Okay. I grew up in New Bern, North Carolina, which is where I am now. I worked in television starting right after high school graduation, and I was in radio while I was in high school. But I've been a staff announcer most of the stations I've worked at, and I've enjoyed a pretty good career. I was in Washington, D.C., Houston, Texas, Cleveland, Ohio, Akron, Ohio. Now I'm back here in New Bern.
Okay. So that's good. Now, what Mr. Edwards is most famous for, and a lot of you guys might know this, he's famous for the AOL chat sounds of the 1980s or 1990s. When did that start officially?
I recorded the AOL phrases in 1989.
1989. Okay, that was actually one of my questions. Now, how did you record it back then? How did you actually do that?
I did it in my living room on a battery-operated cassette deck.
So you just had a regular cassette player with the old, wow. And how did now at the time, were you approached by somebody from AOL? Like did Steve Case come up to you and say, hey, can you record these for me? Or how did you even get on their radar?
My wife was a customer service rep at the company that became AOL. And she and I met in 86, I believe, on Commodore 64 computers.
Oh, nice.
The company that she worked for was called Quantum Computer Services, and the online service was called Q-Link. She and I met in a Christian chat room, and we became friends, and more than in 88, we were married.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. And we're no longer married, unfortunately.
Condolences.
Thank you. But on that cassette deck, I recorded, "Welcome, you've got mail. Files done. Goodbye."
Those are all the ones. Now, later on in there, you had "You've Got Pictures" too. Did you do that? Was that you, or did they just compilate that somewhere else?
That was me.
Okay. Now, what year was "You Got Pictures"? Do you remember that? I know barely anybody remembers that.
I would say probably 92 or 93.
Oh, wow. That was earlier than I thought. Because I remember I had it in 97. I only used it like once or twice. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, you used to be able to take your pictures up to like the CVS, or back then it was Refco or whatever, Walgreens, stuff like that. And you could check off a box saying, I wanted to get this sent to my email box. Because back then nobody had computer scanners. So they would send it to you. And once you get the email, you can just click on it. And then your voice will come up and say, "You've got pictures."
Exactly.
Now, did you, at the time when AOL was coming out, did you have AOL? Did you go into the chat rooms at all?
Yes, I did. And I still have AOL.
Okay. I still got I still have my same one from 19, gosh. Because when I first got AOL in 95 when I was out of high school, and I joined the service and I came back a little bit, but my last chat room name, I used to get banned all the time because I was a freak. I was horrible in chat rooms. Back then, whatever Facebook jail is today, it was chat rooms banning back then. I used to have to change your screen name and all that, but my your guy Joe at AOL.com. Yeah, I've had that since at least 97. So that's going back to even before that Jordan documentary we just saw. Now
I'm still voice pro at AOL.com.
Oh, nice. So now when you were in the chat rooms, did it say on your, like, when you click on your profile, did it say that you were the guy? Did people ever notice that?
A few did, but nobody really made a big deal about it.
Okay. Now, did you ever? Now, I got to ask the proverbial question. Was there any back then payments or residuals or anything for? I mean, it would be minuscule upon minuscule, but was there any kind of monetary compensation for you?
Let's just say I'm not going to retire, but I still have a great relationship with AOL.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Now, the drop. Did you do the drop? No. Or was that
no, that's not me.
Oh, that'd been cool there. That'd been awesome. Now, so we got welcome. You've got, do them all again. Let's see. You got welcome.
Welcome. You've got mail. Files done. Goodbye.
That's awesome. Now, did you? This is just a thing I was noticing about other people, of your ilk. Have you checked into like Cameo and all that? Some of these people would, maybe you could just do some hi, this is L. Edwards. You've got mail or whatever for somebody's birthday or something
Well,
like that.
I've looked at doing that, but AOL, for one thing, owns my voice saying the phrases.
Oh, okay.
They tried to copyright it, but I believe it was ruled to be too generic, and that was not successful on their part. But I'm open to do anything.
Okay. Now, did you ever get to? This is a random question, but the movie You've Got Mail. Have you ever gotten to meet any of the actors in that? Did they ever? Was there anything that the movie did with you, or no?
Well, AOL flew Karen and me to New York for the East Coast premiere of that movie.
Mayo Clinic, a common viral infection that can.
Sorry about that.
Technology. But they flew us to New York for the East Coast premiere. And I saw Tom Hanks from about 150 feet away. He was surrounded by bodyguards. And I saw the back of Meg Ryan's head when she was getting into her limo. So there's my touch with greatness.
Nice. Now, what do you do currently? What do you, I mean, that was 20, 30 years ago, and you appear to be a little bit older than me. You getting close to retirement there? You still doing something? Or?
Well, I'm still in television. I've been on
Okay.
TV now for 54 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm a video editor and also do playback of graphics and server playbacks during the newscast.
Okay, that's a good deal. Well, before we go, could you say this is L. Edwards? You're listening to the Square Table Degenerates podcast. Goodbye.
What's the name of it again? I'm sorry.
Square Table Degenerates podcast.
Okay. I'm L. Edwards, and you're listening to I forgot it again.
All right, the Square Table Degenerates podcast.
I'm L. Edwards, and you're listening to the Square Table Degenerates podcast.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Outstanding. Well, thank you for joining us today, sir. I would appreciate it. And we're going to air this on this Friday night about 9:30. So probably about 9:35 or so. All right.
Okay.
All right,
done.
Goodbye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We're done recording. So